I find myself trying to function in the windows between severity. So, so there's a chronic daily head spin, and then there's a severe head spin that lays me down, and I'm, sound sensitive and light sensitive and blurred vision and unable to focus. 2004, I literally just rolled over in bed and had severe vertigo, like being on a roller coaster, and just completely lost my balance. Couldn't stand up, tried to make it to the bathroom and slammed into the wall and slammed into the wall until I could finally get there. In 2005, I had several weeks like that. In 2006, I rolled over in bed and it hasn't stopped since. Loss of balance, migraines, fatigue, heart palpitations, muscle tremors, tasting metal, all kinds of neurological trouble. And after a lot of diagnosis, a lot of going all over California, best schools in California, trying to figure out what was wrong and why I couldn't stand up. In October of 2006, I had my first heavy metals test, and I tested off the chart with Mercury. The sources of exposure were listed, and really the only one that I had was exposure to fungicides and pesticides. I've been a florist for 37 years, and I have had a lot of exposure to agricultural chemicals. The NIOSH investigation was started by myself and 2 other active employees the day of my workers' comp trial. And after a year-long investigation, they ruled that the Safeway florist may have been exposed to fungicides and pesticides on the job. They suggested that gloves and goggles be worn in the department. They asked for an inspection at the border, flowers coming in to the United States, which usually happens from Miami. They asked for an inspection into the vendors to see what those growers are using. Often the flowers came in from faraway countries that were coated with unknown white or yellow powder residue on the leaves. You go to take them out of the box, and a haze of dust rises. And we also had mandatory programs where I worked that included the dipping of stems coming in from South America and other foreign countries in a preservative called Rogart, which was silver thiosulfate. And in '95 it stopped, the program stopped, it was discontinued with no word as to why. You just simply couldn't order the product. Since we did a lot of research, we found out that in 1995 it was banned in Europe as being too toxic to dispose of. At this time we have 7 floral managers with positive tests. Mercury, and some have mercury, lead, cadmium, arsenic, and aluminum, and 1 has lead. So there's 7 total. And since the Union article came out last week, we've been contacted by 5 more florists in the Bay Area that feel they may have been exposed and want information on the proper testing. Oftentimes, heavy metal toxicity is misdiagnosed as chronic fatigue or an autoimmune problem because this is so state-of-the-art right now, so happening right now that not a lot is known by the common general practitioner. We are being studied by a doctor at University of San Francisco that is doing a study of us to see our loss and gain of memory. He did a PBS special called Toxicity in the Brain, and when I emailed him, I asked him, here we are, we're all in a 90-mile range, this is a great opportunity, would you like to study us? And he said, yes, I would. So we're in that study, and it's a computer program, which is like exercise for your brain. The only problem is we can't remember to do it. So in my circumstance, that scared me, and that was that I saw a glass case by my bed, olive green, so my favorite color, but I did not recognize the glasses in there at all. And so I called my daughter and I asked, are these your glasses by my bed? And she said, no, those are your glasses. Those have been your glasses for 3 years. And I said, oh no, those can't be my glasses. I don't recognize these at all. I would never pick these. They're not me. So I called the eye doctor and he just laughed. He said, you know, it's when we can't remember why we wear glasses that you have to worry. So I said, well, I remember why we have to wear glasses, but if I describe these, could you tell me if these are my glasses? And he said, yeah, those are your glasses. Those have been your glasses for 3 years. And he says, and here's the thing, put them on. Can you see? And I'm like, well, yeah. And he says, okay, those are your glasses. So that scared me because I did not have any recollection, as if that entire neuron was gone. So that scared me, and that's just one example of memory loss. When you find that you have high levels of mercury or other metals, chelation is just about all a person can do. So there are different types of chelation. One is oral and one is intravenous. So if you have oral chelation, it's a very controlled protocol that you take a chelating agent, and it's very important that you replace the other good minerals that you also may be stripping out when you chelate. You're monitored, your kidneys are monitored, your hormones are monitored, you're doing a lot of lab work just to make sure that everything else, that you're tolerating the treatment. When you have intravenous chelation, it's a little bit more aggressive. You're exhausted, but your levels will slowly come down. I know with the other florists, their lead is dropping in half. Their aluminum is coming within range. Their mercury is down a few points. Mercury is the hardest one. It just doesn't want to give up. It's stored in your fatty tissues of your brain and your kidneys. And the damage done from chronic exposure. I mean, now we're dealing with the damage repair. I think that as huge of a hole that has been made from the devastation physically and to our families for our chronic health trouble, there's also been some blessings, and I think that the key for us is in healing to try to remain grateful for every day, to live every day, and to find just even the smallest blessing daily. And I think that's what gets us through.